Welcome back to Happy Hour with Heather and Guest. This is a special episode with the return of Kenneth Prouty, who's been on the show numerous times, either performing or discussing some of his music. It's great to have you back.
Hi, Kenneth.
Nice to be here.
And we're here today to talk probably about a lot of music, since you had just mentioned it had been a while. But you do have an album coming out March 29th called Quartet, which is sort of a jazz reimagining, I would say, of a lot of tracks.
Yeah. So really that's what it was. It was just kind of a weird idea. And Alyssa had been asking me to do that for a long time. And it was kind of like two factors, because we were playing out a lot and she hates playing at the metal clubs because it's just like not her thing. And it was like, well, we should do this and then we can play at nicer places. And I was like, all right, well, the artist part is like, no, I'm not gonna sell out on my material, man. It has to be how I want it, And then I finally, after however many years, answered that text.
No, it's my mother's phone, and my brother's trying to FaceTime, so I'm trying to text him to say, can you do it another time?
Yeah, I'll pause this thought.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes, come back to. Oh, okay, well, I think he got my text. All right, you're good to go.
Yeah. So basically, it took a long time, and I kind of really honestly didn't want to do it, because I felt like it was kind of like being disingenuous to what I was trying to work on. And somehow the mood struck and I worked on one. And when I finished Hidden Truths, reworking it into that form and just having the idea of like, okay, what if we do it only in the style of a quartet? So like, how can I rework these parts? And, it's like cleaning up the guitar so much on my signal without all the overdrive and distortion. It was like, I had to relearn how to play like in a whole different way. So then all of a sudden it became fun, because it was the challenge, and playing a lot more piano again, everything that we're going to talk about. It's like, oh, and then I played more piano. So that will be the theme of the show tonight. How I learned how to play piano over the last 2 years. So, but yeah, anyways, it became really fun to rework these things, and you have to set aside the preciousness of how you feel towards the work too, because then it's like, well, I really liked how this riff was, or this part of the song, and all of a sudden it just would not work anymore. So I would have to like, okay, well, how do I change this to work in these type of beats, or to do this, or do I let the piano play that part and then just take this on the guitar and interchange things like that. So all the challenges became, to me, that's what I like anyway, more than anything, is just the whole artistic process of it, more than ever than being a performer. So that's how Quartet came about, and it became a lot of fun, and I am really enjoying the results of it. And I kind of got to revisit some old swing music, and I was like, yeah, I forgot that I liked all this, because artistically, I've always not kept myself in one spot. I've listened to everything from the Robert Johnson blues to old Benny Goodman and Glenn Miller, and just a love of music and classical too, and all this stuff. So like getting to actually say, oh yeah, you know what, let's see if we can take one of these, or take some of these songs and actually learn how to play them. And so that was really cool.
Did Alyssa play on it? Did she play anything on this record?
Can I lie and say yeah? No, but it's like now she actually wants to play again. So that's kind of a cool thing. So maybe sometime later this year, when we actually get it all worked up, because now I'm kind of like, you know, my live shows, everything. It's always difficult because of the logistics of not really having a band. You have to, like, basically I have to go back to every track on the album and remix the whole thing minus the bass and the guitars, and then try to remaster everything to all be the right level. So when we go play, and I'm still trying to think of how to do that, because it's either I can just leave like all the piano parts to be played on backing, or I've been looking at, there's an effect pedal where actually you can make the guitar sound like piano. And kind of what I was thinking to do was kind of blend it so it's like where all the parts where the piano and guitar play together, it would sound just like that anyway, but it would be me playing. So still trying to figure that out. I'm not sure yet. And she's only really played one of the songs. We've sat down and kind of went through one of the oldies. I was teaching her Moon Glow, and that was kind of fun. But,
so she might come out and play with you possibly.
Yeah. Like if we can actually get the thing going again, and you know, play some nice little jazz clubs or whatever. If they'll take me, you know, then maybe she'll come do that. I know she's like, we were playing a lot of, like, again, you know, the metal clubs, and you get there and it's dark, dank, and it's just not her scene, you know. She likes to support what I'm doing.
It was a lot. It was a lot of fun watching you guys play together in the live streams.
Yeah. No, it's fun. And by the way, this is being recorded and then posted later, right? Not.
Yes, this is not live.
Okay. I know she wanted to. She thought it was a live stream. She was going to watch it from the other room. Critique me, you know. But no, it's all good. So yeah. So I mean, if we do some live shows later this year, it will be the both of us again. So that'll be nice. Or maybe we'll get more people this time.
Sure.
And actually do the whole thing, but we'll see. It's, you know, the whole thing too with the whole, like, I guess just to throw it out there, just to say, is like, it's hard for me to have a full working band because obviously, as you guys have known, we've kind of, you know, all been acquaintances for the last, 4 years, something like that. And you see how much I'm working and how fast things move on my side. So it's like, it's hard to have other people keep up with that. And I think even with her, she was getting frustrated because we'd get everything, we'd work it all out for a set of all this new music. And then by the time we played 2 or 3 shows, I'm like, all right, now let's learn 5, you know. So it's always moving fast. So playing on my own or with very scaled down people, it's easy for me, but also I know it's weird for the audience because it kind of, you know, I think the idea is that people think I'm like, hey, check me out. And if I could play live and not really be there, just have people appreciate the music, I would do that more so. But you're trying to give the experience. I don't know. I always have a hard time with playing live. It's fun, and then it's not fun. And I ultimately, I just want to do my work, my artist stuff, because if it wasn't music, it would be something else. And it is a bunch of other things. And I would just do that because I enjoy creating things and putting them out there. Not so much just playing the same stuff over and over and let's have a party. So that's where I'm at.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I guess my question, because I noticed that you chose songs from a lot of albums to incorporate on this.
Yeah.
So how did you go about selecting which song was going to get the treatment?
That's a really good question. I appreciate that. Yeah. I don't know. It was kind of Yeah, I just, it started, I kind of messed with a few things and nothing worked. And then I did the Hidden Truths one and somehow it all kind of clicked. And I was like, okay. And I took it from there. And then I started understanding uh, how to rework things and kind of play within those tempos or the jazzy swinginess, I guess. But, um, and then I picked songs that I really enjoyed playing live is what it was too. So oddly enough, the more black metal the original was, the more it seemed to just kind of like go right over. So I don't know. It, so that, so like past becomes future. If you listen to that one, it's super like black metal style and bioluminescence too, with the drumming and everything. And both of those just worked really, really well. Um, and actually, I think one of the ones that stands out is Patterns and Pathways from the Building album. And that one somehow went from the Meshuggah drum beats to like some weird Latin jazz thing. And it was like, all right, this is cool. And that one actually was probably the easiest one to record, even though I think I did it all in one night, like in a couple hours. I just sat there and I'm like, oh, this works and that works. And it would just like was done. So that was a lot of fun with that one. Some of the other ones were a lot of work. But I didn't have like a specific, it was just kind of going through listening to stuff like when I'm driving and saying, okay, well, let's try this one or let's try that one. And there may be a volume two because there was still stuff I would like to mess with, but I just, sometimes you get fatigued in the recording process too. It's like, okay, let's just be done. You can't do that with writing though, because then you're like, and then
Well,
you get here, oh, I'm done. Forget the end of the book.
I mean, the problem I think with most things that are artistic, if you're making music, if you're writing, if you're taking photographs, it's when being comfortable knowing when it's done. That's really the thing.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I mean, but I think you're sort of on this point, you're kind of entering the other side of the spectrum. Like these are finished songs, but you're seeing where else they can go in a different genre.
Yeah. So yeah, 100%. And that definitely makes it a lot easier because when you're writing,
Yeah,
you have to, if you're not going to have other input, you have to be a really, really tough critic with yourself,
sure.
and
If you guys don't mind, I'm just gonna go take care of something, but I'll be back in a minute. You can keep talking or you can hit pause. It's up to you. But I'll be right back.
let's sit
Okay.
here completely quiet and leave it rolling.
Well,
How's,
I was going to ask you too. Um, I know a while ago you played with Grave Next Door in Michigan. I was
oh
going to
yeah.
ask you, how was that? How did that go?
Yeah, we've done like 3 or 4 shows together. No, I love those. Those guys are really nice, man. They're great dudes. Um, and I will say the last show I actually played was with them, and it was last March. So it's been a year now since I actually played live. And most of the time when we were playing together, we were always far from where I lived. So we would get done playing, and I think the first time we played together, I actually stayed and watched them, and the last time, and all the other times, I'd be like, guys, I've got like a 2 hour drive. I'm out of here because I was on my own, So I would take off, and I felt horrible about it, but it's like I don't want to be driving home at 1 or 2 in the morning for
Right.
2 more hours, and I'm already exhausted. So, but no, it's their new music is really good. So I'm hoping they get that knocked out pretty quick. The new record. The last show we played, like I said, in last March, they had all new material and everything sounded good. Yeah. So they're all nice guys too.
Yeah.
And I think with the new bass player, they've got the Spinal Tap bass players. I think after 2 years they explode, but hopefully he doesn't. 'Cause he was adding a lot to it, and he did really good. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
those guys are great. And you know, I know I'm off on a weird tangent of music right now, but no, no issues. They're great dudes, and I'd play shows with them again. And yeah, whatever. We even kind of half talked about adding some guitar parts to their new record, and it just stuff came up in our life that it just was not going to work because they were recording in Atlanta and all that, or wherever they're at in Georgia. So I didn't follow through with that, but Patrick definitely asked me. He's like, "Yeah, if you want to do it, come on." So
that would be pretty cool. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that would be cool.
but yeah, no. So it's fun times. Like I said, they're good guys, and I wish them all the best. And I hope Patrick's health is doing well. I haven't talked to him in a while, aside from just seeing what's going on. So, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Andrew's back.
Andrew, we were just going off about like
talk about Grave Next Door.
No, we were talking about you.
Oh
yeah.
Oh. Awesome.
No, yeah. Heather was just asking about because we did a bunch of shows together, so
gotcha.
All good. All good.
Yeah, well, it's Heather and I will often discuss, like I sometimes will bring up music theories that aren't based on anything other than just my own thoughts. So I find progressive music, which is some of the style you play, lends itself really well to jazz. I find them both to be, so I would think it wouldn't be so far-fetched to kind of take it in that direction.
Yeah, no, it's funny because the kind of stuff I'm doing it can go all over the place, really. You can bridge into classical jazz or to pop or pretty much anything, because it's like you start having the experience of how to play and you can blend that anywhere. But and I know you guys have got to hear the whole record, and I think things that were really fun to do and to hear and to bring into this world, which I haven't heard really many people doing, was like bringing all my tapping stuff and just adding that in there, and it just sounds so different from what you would normally hear in the jazz blues spectrum. So yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes over, and we'll just go from there.
Yeah, well, it is, I think we've spoken to a couple of musicians who sort of recreate, in the, like, I don't necessarily like repeating myself that often. I like challenging myself. I like moving, like you and Jeff from Titanosaur are very much people who are kind of one-person operations. You enjoy doing all facets of the artwork, the art, creation, production, the whole thing. So it's really cool, though, to see you challenging yourself like this. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times people feel comfortable when they find their niche, and then they just keep, they're fine to keep doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to know that you're, and this is a risk too, because like you had said, this may not play to the same people who enjoyed the original music.
Yeah.
It may be so far out there, but I enjoyed it. I have, I love, Heather can attest to this. Sometimes I'll have Bill Evans playing in the background or Miles Davis. I'm a big fan of, jazz. So okay. I was excited to know that you were taking this in that direction.
Oh, that's cool. I figured, all right, well, now that I'm doing this, I'll never talk to these guys again. That's why I said, well, I'm going to send them the preview of the record, and we'll see we'll see. They'll delete my email and block me on everything. So, but here we are.
Yeah.
No, we're fans of all music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if it's done well.
Yeah.
You know, and I think again, people who enjoyed your it may be a bit of a stretch for a lot of people, but I'm hoping that people will give it a chance because
Yeah.
there are some really good tunes there.
Yeah. And it,
And
it,
it's
did, it did come out well, you know? So, I mean, it's like, it's fun to hear, like if you play one of the original song and then play the newer one, it's like, wow, okay. I see it. And I also see how different it is. So,
yeah,
but while maintaining the core of the original, it's not like uh, Eric Clapton's Layla, where it's like you hear the acoustic version and then you hear the old rock version from the 70s. You're like, it's not even the same song. These ones actually sound like the same song. It's like we went
sure.
from the metal show and we went to the after party, so we had to slow it down.
Yeah, that's one thing I think that's, you know, a lot of talent to be able to rearrange songs and put them together the way that you do. I think, you know, I really admire that because there's a lot of people that can't do that. And a lot, you know, like a lot of music that we listen to and that we hear is like what Andrew says, it's very formulaic. So to be able to rearrange songs and, you know, do put your spin on them and how you interpret them, I think is, I think you have a lot of talent.
I
Very, very
appreciate that.
talented. So
That sounds like it's leading right into Heathen's reality then, since we're talking covers here. Which that's fine. That was a fun.
That was the David Bowie.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
that was just a labor of love. So for me, like I've been a big fan for, I mean, ages, and I'm probably a lot older than anyone knows, and that's okay. Let's leave it at that. But I've been a fan for a long time, and funny story. Like, so I actually got to see him on the reality tour a couple stops before he had the heart issue and stopped touring. So I got to see him play live for that. That was really cool. And when I met my wife, I was actually playing out, and I was playing a couple David Bowie covers, and then that's why she liked me. So you know, the rest is history. So, but okay, so that is a true story, but maybe not. Maybe that's not why she liked me, but it is a true story. Um, but all those songs, I picked those songs specifically for reasons too, and those were songs that I've always liked and had, you know, felt really personal to me. So I was like, hey, we have the skills now, the technology and everything to give these a go. So let's just see what we can do. And I think they came out pretty good. And I'm really happy with how it came out. And I feel like they're an extension of already what he did. It's like, I'm not saying, I would never say that my versions are better, but I think anyone who is a real David Bowie fan could put them on and just be like, oh, okay, oh, that's cool. That end of that song in the original went a cappella, and here now we've got all this guitar stuff, you know, or adding. And even when I was adding leads to the songs, so for instance, the Looking for Water, and I put this lead at the end where it goes a cappella, and the real one, it's just singing. The way that I was playing the guitar is in the style I was referencing Reeves Gabrels, who was one of his guitarists, not playing in that style. Because if you listen to the album Earthling, like the way he plays with all the and dives and different whammy things, I was trying to emulate that style. So that way, even though I'm playing my own lead on there and adding to it, again, it was not about like, hey, check me out. This was like, I love this music, you know, and I just wanted to put my spin on it and put it out there. So, and what was the other one? Hold on. The nerves. The nerves are getting to me. I can't remember anything. 1 second.
That's okay.
I will see what the name of the song is. Where are we now? I didn't even get to it, and I remembered. So the lead on the end of that one, I really wanted to really tie that one all the way back, since I kind of had arranged the whole song differently than what they had. You know, there's this way, the original is way more jazzy oriented, and I kind of brought it into more of a straight rock vibe. So I took and tried to make the lead really have a Mick Ronson sound from like the 70s Spider style. So all those little things, you know, adding to it to give it my own flavor, but also really show the love for it, not just a bad cover, you know. So yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that one.
Well, that seems to be the key to, you know, I mean, well, to all the work you're doing, you know, I think what's really wonderful for a lot of people to hear if they want to be creative is, rather than try to satisfy the whims of your audience, you know, as long as you're enjoying what you're doing. And I think you're finding a great balance between enjoying what you're doing and challenging yourself so that it's not simply just recreating something really easily, but you're kind of taking it in a new direction. Whether you're extending a song or you're rearranging it, you know, and the fact that you get immense pleasure from doing all this stuff, that's really the goal.
Yeah, because there's no audience to please at this point, let me tell you. So I'm enjoying it. Well, and you two are enjoying it, so that's about
I think, you know, there are always people out there who are looking to discover the types of, you know, the type of music you're playing, no matter how esoteric or weird it is.
Yeah.
So it's just about finding them. You know, that's the main reason behind the show, is to try and allow people to connect to music they may not hear through other channels.
Yeah.
And I get to hang out with Heather. I mean, that's really, those are the two main. It's a win-win for me.
No, it's a many more wins than that, because I mean, you guys have done a great job too with helping so many bands, like you're saying, just giving them exposure to wider audiences. So that's, and really just because you love music. So that's a great thing. I mean, who can argue with that?
No, it's a nice universal component that we all share: the love of music and the desire to recreate in it. And that's the second time I've used the word recreate, if you're counting at home. So if you're taking shots because I've said something, there you go. Just drive.
Okay, we'll have to go back and watch it because I don't remember it. I think I do. I think I remember you saying it very early on.
It's all good.
But yeah.
We have to get the bingo card out again.
Yeah, get the bingo card out. So I know that you're I mean, I think you enjoy playing live, but I think that comes with a lot of complications. You know, how do you set this up? How do you operate? I know also personally, sometimes it's difficult to find people who share the same enthusiasm for things, or the same work ethic, or the same, you know, so it's always difficult to find people to work with who have the same vision. So what's So next up, I mean, it seems like you're opening that avenue a little bit with this new project because you'll need to play these songs in a quartet.
Well, actually, wouldn't that be the irony, though? Wouldn't that be the ultimate irony to go and play an album called Quartet with two people at a jazz club
Yeah, I mean,
with
well,
backing tracks, and we'll bring the projectors too, and just go full
if
rock show in the jazz club.
I mean, if anyone can
But
pull it
sit
off,
down.
if anyone can pull it off, you're the person. You and Alyssa, I could definitely see you showing up and the promoter saying, "Okay, we're the other two members." Oh no, it's just us. We're a duo
Yeah,
called Quartet.
I do appreciate you saying it, and it's probably true, but it's very tiring to be the one who keeps having to do stupid things like this. So
Well, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily label them like that, but
yeah,
it does take a toll after a while. I think
yeah,
we all want to have some sort of immediate gratification, and but you're also in a lot of areas you're the tip of the spear, leading the way for other people. I'm hoping that a lot of people out there will decide to follow you in, rearranging or reimagining songs they've written, or trying, to go in a different genre than maybe they've initially started playing. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that this opens the door for a lot of people to at least consider different options.
yeah. Well, time will tell, right?
Absolutely, and you'll enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, we've aside from music, I've got a lot of other things I'm working on too. So it's like, I'm always busy, and there's also it's funny because when I think about all the things I do consistently, I'm like, how do I even do all this? And then there's times where I'm just sitting around and I'm like, I don't get anything done. But that's anyway.
The way
Let
it
me
is.
just ask you guys: did you ever have a chance to listen to the soundscapes for the Dying World one? Did you ever check that out? Because I know it was really weird, and I'm totally okay with that. And that if you guys didn't, but it was.
I I did. I think. I mean, I know I did. I wouldn't be able to articulate it now, but I know I
Yeah,
listened to Black Tide and Patterns, and I'm pretty sure I listened to the album you just mentioned. I'm not going to get the title correct,
yeah,
but I wouldn't be able to give you any details on it.
that's all right. Needless to say,
I mean,
that was a nice change of pace after,
sure.
I don't know, what, 6, 7 like shred albums and crazy bombastic things. So that was just that was a need to be done thing to kind of cleanse the palate and not be stuck doing the same thing.
Sure.
And that was good too because it kind of opened the door. Like without that, I probably wouldn't have done the Bowie thing, and without that, I could have easily just done the same thing over and over. It would
Sure.
have been that would have felt a lot easier, but um, it was good, and I think there's some interesting things on there. And if you play it, just cruising your car at night, I think people will enjoy it for what it is. You know, so that's always a fun one, or just play the Bowie one. That's good. That
Well,
one you can sing along with, so that's a lot easier. People like that.
yeah, well, I would recommend if you're not familiar with Kenneth's work, check out his entire catalog because it is vastly different. I mean, like you said, there are a few albums that are sort of shredding progressive stuff, but it's none of it is really the same. Like you don't revisit the same stuff that often. There are themes, and obviously the genre is the same, but I would say all your albums are pretty different from each other.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yes and no. Definitely because of themes, that helps, and also the constant pushing of trying to not do the same thing, that helps. So yeah, it's been a good ride. I've enjoyed it. I know some people have enjoyed it too. So I have, like I said, I'm probably going to do more, like a volume 2 of Quartet, but maybe we'll not limit it to being a quartet and just get crazy on it. Um, I do know some people out here who play in orchestras and stuff. I'm not saying I'm trying to get that, but having some connections, maybe we can get some horns and stuff and make it really, really wild on here. But we'll see. Ultimately, playing at different venues, it's easy with the rock club because if you got 35 minutes, 7-8 songs, you can go play. But I know with the jazz music and jazz clubs, they want a little bit more. So it's kind of forcing me to have to to build the set out, because right now all I have is the songs from that one record, so which is about 35 minutes. So I'll open for Grave Next Door with this. And we'll be playing some old Benny Goodman songs, and then they'll come on.
Sure.
That would be awesome.
It would be fun, but
Well,
they'd probably like it, and that's the thing.
Patrick would probably love it.
They would probably like it. I think all the musicians, as long as something's done good, they'll appreciate it. The audience, which, at that time you're there to entertain them. Sometimes they don't understand those things, and that's not putting anyone down. It's just like, hey, we're here to see some rock, and you're up here playing some goofy stuff. So get out of here. and unfortunately, and I will say, but it's like, it was even that way playing my stuff live in the metal form too, because it's just like you said, it's different. It's somewhere else, and they're like, what they're expecting is I want to hear a riff and I want to hear some yelling, and then I'm in there and they're like, what? Okay, I guess. So with that being the case, that whole thing with the beginning of the album on Bioluminescence, where you hear the crowd and you hear the guy in the end, I did that on purpose because I was making a joke with Alyssa, like, because that's what it would be most of the time. Like, okay, oh, someone's clapping. Okay, we have to clap. And then it's 5 people and then done.
right.
So I put that all in there as a joke. Like, it was not recorded live, but that was for me. Just like, okay, just make it funny. So that way, every time we listen to it, we get a laugh. So,
Well, I like.
Now you can too. And now worldwide.
Yes.
All the happy hour friends. March 39th.
March 39th.
March 39th, 2,000,077. You can hear this album. It will be out.
I think what I like is you're making the music obviously for other people to listen to, but it's also really for you.
Yeah.
And people will connect with what you've put out there. And that's really, I mean, I'm glad I know the Easter egg of the clapping, but like you included that in the album for other people to hear.
Yeah.
And that's great. Like, I do that all the time with stuff. I'll name, streets after friends of mine, or I'll do something, name characters after. So it's like a little nod, but whether or not anyone else ever gets it is fine.
Yeah. No, it's fun to do that. Do little things.
Cool.
And, also incorporate fun things. So another one that I'd like to just share with people, so that way they can really appreciate part of it too, was so taking Discovery Paradox and giving it that beat from Sing Sing Sing, an old swing song. And so the last bit of it, I tried to keep it pretty in tune with the original version, and that at the end, the last section, I added 3 riffs that were actually from the Sing 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 song from Benny Goodman. So that was really fun to throw those in there too. So when you hear it, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I think I've heard that, and they're fun. They're fun ones, and if we ever get a real quartet / and or full band, that's one of those ones that you can just keep going and going and just have a lot of fun with it.
Cool. Well, unfortunately, I need to get going, but it's been really wonderful. I'm so glad that you chose to rearrange your stuff. I'm a fan of the album. I think when it drops on the 29th, you should get it. And then I'm excited to know that you may be playing some clubs.
Yeah, I don't know when, but I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, we'll hopefully you'll be playing nearby, or at least we'll be able to broadcast it or something.
Yeah.
But good luck with everything, and thank you so much for talking with us.
It's always good, and thank you guys for supporting all the madness and all the other musicians, and so it's a great service, man, and I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yes, have a good night. Take care.
You too.